Welcome to Adobe Illustrator. You open your file, go to the folder where the file is saved. Let's see what's here. So this is a vector file. I explained what a vector file is already. You remove any properties that's not necessary. I'll delete this. There's a shadow behind this here. I'll remove the shadow also. This is the shadow here. Drop shadow. Just click delete the shadow. Delete this. I add the rectangle to the background. This is the rectangle here. I added it to the background. Then I want to add some text to this. You know what? Let's make it the second logo for Teetos hairs. So this will fly well for Teetos hairs. So that's it. While scaling, if you scale on Illustrator without holding your Shift or Control, it loses proportion. So you have to hold your Control for the size to stay proportionate. So to scale, you can hold your Shift. On your Mac, it is Shift you hold. On your Windows, you hold Control. On Mac, you hold Shift for this. On Windows, you hold Control. So you can scale it up or down. And this, thinking about the best way to execute this logo. I want to make it Teetos hair, so it's to type Teetos. Scale it down into this. And I can reduce the size of the hairs. I use this rectangle to balance it in the center. I just click this and click the rectangle, then I came to align and I balance it to the center. Your own Illustrator might not be like this. Your properties might not be on the right here. You will need to come to, let's assume your properties is not there, for instance, it's out completely. You need to come to Window, look for Properties, and then you can arrange it anyhow you want it arranged. I could even choose to have layers underneath properties. I come here, I pick my layers. Layers was open here already. I can bring it out of here and put it on top of properties. Or I might even want layers to be underneath properties. That's it. I can also resize it, but I don't need layers here. Let me just put it back to the smaller part here. So I delete this guide rectangle, this rectangle, I delete this. Then I will need to make these hairs a little bit smaller. I hold Shift and Alt for this. So holding Alt will make it reduce size on all four corners, while holding Shift will make it proportionate. The same thing on Windows, but on Windows it is Control and Alt, but on Mac it is Shift and Alt. It gets confusing sometimes, especially when you use two different softwares. Sometimes Control is not working the way it was working on CorelDRAW. Like for instance, on CorelDRAW, how do I explain this thing? On CorelDRAW, your Control does the work of command on CorelDRAW. Meanwhile, on Illustrator, it's your Shift that does the work of Control. It gets confusing sometimes going from software to software, but you get used to it with time. I also still make such mistakes when I'm trying to use shortcuts. But it's unlike before my mistake level was so high. This looks very, very, very balanced. I can scale this a little bit. This looks balanced. Then the colors. Let's use the same colors that we used initially for the original Teetos hairs. So I will I will place, place is like important. So I'll place a picture of that Teetos hair so we can pick color from it. This is it here. Don't show again. Okay. So I place this picture here. We'll be using this picture for the background. Let's pick this rectangle. Let's just put this aside. So pick this rectangle. Click on this is appearance here. Remember properties. So you come to appearance. We click on fill. The color needs to be a gradient. So instead of using that, you come to your tools segment here and then you look for gradient. This is gradient here, gradient tool. You click on your gradient tool. What type of gradient? This is a radial gradient. Let me show you what each gradient means. Linear means linear, line, a line. Gradient on a line. That's the linear gradient. It's a line. Then this is radial. Radial means a round gradient. This is a radial gradient here. This is the radial gradient here. Now, a gradient is basically a mixture of colors blending from one color to another. So for example, now this is a lighter shade of gold and a darker shade of gold. I can choose to make the color instead of gold. I come to the bottom left here, double click on this color and change this to black. And the color changes to black. Or I might want to, I can also choose to change this second color, maybe to a dark gray. At the same time, let me undo all of that. At the same time, I can double click on this color here. This is what I did. I can double click on this color that is on the gradient itself. Use this eyedropper. What this color picker means is, if I click on this color picker and I click on any color, it picks the color. Do you see what just happened now? I'll do the same thing for the second color. I'll double click, pick my eye picker, color picker, sorry. It is called eyedropper in CorelDRAW, but yeah, it's called color picker. And then I pick the darker part of the color. Can you see what happened? Then I can try to make this look close. Yeah, this is good. So that's that for the background. And then for the icon, I didn't hold my shifts and alt. I was holding only alt. So for the icon, same thing applies. The color is already closed, but wait, let me ungroup first. There's something here that's disturbing. If you want to edit something in Illustrator, let's say I want to edit only this one. I don't want to interfere with this at all. All I need to do is double click on this and it will dig deep into it. What's happening here is all of these were grouped together. So all of this one, this flower here, the second flower, this inner circle, and this one were grouped together. Let me show you. If I press Ctrl Shift and G on my keyboard, it ungroups. So if I click on one, it won't click on everything. It will pick only the individual elements. However, if I Ctrl Z, now they are currently individual elements, but I can easily click everything and press Ctrl G on my keyboard, which is group, or Ctrl Shift and G on group. This is on group here. Or I can go to Object and on group. You can see group here. Because they are already grouped, your group is not activated. You can press on group to ungroup it. In order to isolate only this and make corrections to only this, I double click on this. Now, if I do anything, it doesn't affect any other parts because it is currently isolated. That's what it's called. Isolation. So all of this is isolated. So I click on this 1, 2, 3, and all of these flowers, and I group it. Then I double click into isolation. I change the color. I need to change the color into a gradient. Now what's happening now is each of these, they are individual. This is a group, so the gradient is not activating because it's a group. I need to go dig into it, double click it. You can see the gradient is now activated. Although this color is a gradient, because it is not combined. Combined means it is one single layer, while group means they all maintain individual characteristics, but they are grouped together. So grouped, what grouped means is I can change the color of this, just this flower, to black. I can change the color of just this flower to black, and the others will remain their color. However, if they were combined together, I cannot change the color of just this because they are all meant to be having the same characteristics. In order for me to change color here, I can either choose to change the color of each flower individually, or I can choose to combine all of the flowers. In order to combine all of the flowers, I just need to click this, unite, and that will create a compound shape. Now it is a single shape. It is no longer separated. They all use the same characteristics. As you can see, the color changed immediately I clicked combine, unite. In CorelDRAW, it is called combine. No, it's called weld. Combine is a different command. But in Illustrator, it is unite. If I click on unite, now they are all the same. I can easily press G on my keyboard. G for gradient, or I go to gradient here and then I add a gradient to it. For some reason, I don't know why that bar we used earlier is not appearing here. However, there are other ways to edit this. I can easily go to the gradient itself, open it here and change the colors manually. I need to first of all have this logo in view. As you can see, the colors are similar, but they are not the same. So I click on this, change my tool to gradient, open this here. I pick this color picker. Pick the first color, open again, second color picker. And then the third color. And that's Teetos hairs. To save, all you need to do is come here and save. Saving will save as Illustrator. However, you might need the logo in different other formats. So you come here, come to export. Export as will export individually. We export everything as one single file. So you could export everything as a single PNG image. And export. Okay. Or you could export for screens. For screens, now let me explain each of them. This is export. Export for screen is for when you have multiple screen. I will show you that. When you have multiple screen and you want to export each screen, each artboard individually, while export as will export the entire design as a single file. Save for web is for optimized saving. Save for web will reduce quality, will compress your image, will preserve your image. Let's say you want to use it for a website, for instance, or you want to post on Instagram. Save for web will compress the image to the lowest size possible and ensure that you are getting the optimum quality at the same time. So save for web is an optimized saving. When you want to save size, you don't want to use too much megabytes to save. You use save for web. But if you want the best quality, you want PNG 24 bits, the highest resolution, just use export as. Export for screen is for when you have multiple screens, as you can see. So let's assume you have multiple artboards, for instance. This is the artboard tool here. This. Let's assume you have multiple artboards. Let me zoom out, and then you have this, and then you have the third artboard. It could be you want one logo to be white. Change the field to white. It could be you want one logo to be white. And then you want one to have black. And change this color, for instance, to a darker color. And make this black. If you want to have different versions of the logo like this. Change this to black also. This is where you will be using export for screens. So export for screens, as you can see. So you pick which one you want to export and then you export it for screen. All of the settings, you can choose to increase the size or reduce the size. This is half the size, or this will be double. 3 times, 2 times, 4 times, 1.5 times. But let's keep it at the original size. And then I can export the artboard. In what format do you want it? Do you want it in PNG, SVG, PDF? PNG is like the best format for image. And these are other image formats. SVG is vector, while PDF is portable document format. PDF will also save as vector. But for online purposes, you need PNG. And for websites, you might be needing SVG. Web designers use SVG a lot for their vectors, so it stays crisp. But for image purposes, you use PNG and then you export artboard. There you have it. I didn't even check where I saved it to. So let me go back to here. This is Command Alt and E on Mac. On Windows is Control Alt and E. Export for artboards. This is it here. Export for screens. So I changed this. Okay, the location was desktop. I didn't check where I was saving to earlier. So I can easily go to my desktop. This is it in this folder, 1x.